Alright, Minecraft combat is not completely broken. It's just flat. You get better gear, you take less damage, you deal more damage, and that's basically the whole story. By the time you hit late game, almost every armor set below Netherite just stops mattering. There's no reason to switch, think, or adapt. And I think that's the problem. Because Minecraft has all these armor sets, it has all these weapons, damage sources, all these status effects, and almost none of them actually connect in a meaningful way. So I wanted to think how I could fix this. Not by turning Minecraft into some bloated RPG with menus and hidden stats and 17 pages of, I don't know, a bunch of stuff. I mean a system that's simple, readable, and still feels like Minecraft. It doesn't feel like this big modded mess. But it finally gives armor an actual identity. So today I'm breaking down the whole thing. Damage types, the cleaned up status system, every armor set, their resistances, special properties for armor, and how they interact with the status effects. And a couple of unique enchantments that give some late game armor some real choices. Honestly, I really want Mojang to see this. Not because I think they're just gonna take everything I say and implement it, but honestly, if the community kinda has things right, I think the end update, which could also have a bunch of combat changes to it, is gonna come around when the new Minecraft movie comes out, and I want them to be able to see this if enough people like it and agree with me here that they can see these changes before they do the big combat stuff, because they've been working on combat changes. And honestly, I really hope they make a nice polished system. I also just want to preface this by saying I did appreciate the 1.9 combat update. That's a bit of a hot take, I know, but I think overall the combat cooldown system with the shields and the different damage types with swords and axes, the attack cooldowns, I think it was a step in the right direction for sure than just spam clicking everybody until they died. I mean, that's what I grew up on when I played Minecraft, but it honestly was refreshing to see the change that they did. Unlike the Elytra, which I think was a big hindrance in Minecraft transport. Video on that coming soon. Alright, so the foundation for this whole overhaul, in my opinion, is very simple. Every weapon now deals one of 3 damage types: slash, pierce, and blunt. That's it. And you already intuitively know what most weapons would do anyway, so the system just formalizes what Minecraft already feels like it should have had. Alright, so let's go over them quick. A sword is slash. An axe is slash and blunt. A mace is pretty obviously just pure blunt damage. A bow, crossbow, trident, and spear are all pierce damage. A pickaxe is pierce and blunt. A shovel and a hoe are blunt damage because, well, they need something. So now, the weapon you choose will actually matter based off of what you're trying to do. It's no longer just bigger number equals better, and armor now has matchups to all these damage types. So, if your armor is resistant to a damage type, you take 25% less damage from it. If your armor is weak to something, you take 25% more damage. That's the whole rule. Simple enough to understand in 5 seconds, and it's deep enough to actually make a difference in the combat system. So, the next problem to solve is status effects. Because right now, I think it's all over the place. Poison is damage over time, but it doesn't kill you. Wither is damage over time, but it can kill you, so it's basically a worse poison. And then freezing slows you down and eventually damages you. And then there's fire, one of the most common damage sources in the game, and it's not even treated like a real status effect. Lightning, in my opinion, is even worse. It hits you, it hurts you, and then it just kind of stops being interesting. So my goal is to kind of clean that up and make it feel standardized. So you keep the existing statuses in the game, poison, wither, and freezing, and then you add 2 standardized additions: burning and shocking, or electrocution, whatever. Burning should be a real status effect, not some invisible timer in the background. If you get hit by a fire aspect sword, let's just say you get 5 seconds of burning. If you get hit by fire aspect 2, 10 seconds, and if you get hit by a flame arrow, 5 seconds of burning, or whatever the actual tweaks are. I'm no game designer. And honestly, I think lightning needs the same treatment. If you get struck by lightning, or hit by a lightning-based effect, you should take the initial hit, and then suffer a short electrocution, ticking damage over a few seconds plus a brief movement stun. That way, every major elemental damage actually plugs into the Minecraft world. And now, armor isn't just protecting raw damage, it's interacting with status effects. And that's where things get interesting. But we'll get to armor and status effects in a little bit. Alright, so this is my philosophy. Every armor set should have three things: a combat identity, a status identity, and a unique mechanic. Not one armor set that does everything, and 6 others that just exist to be stepped on during progression. If Minecraft is going to have this many armor materials, then every one of them should give you a reason to wear it. So, let's go armor by armor. Alright, so let's talk about leather. Leather becomes your stealth and survival utility set. Leather is basically the baseline set. It's neutral to most incoming damage types, but it's weak to slash. We're going to keep the status interaction that leather is immune to freezing. Now, the special property is that if you're wearing a full set of leather, you gain some stealth benefits. You will not trigger skulk sensors, and mobs will detect you 50% less effectively. To me, that's huge. Leather isn't just the armor you will throw away now after the first 10 minutes, or even if you ever freaking make it, because it's leather, and it becomes the armor for sneaking through the deep dark. Yes, it's weak in combat, but it will at least now have an actual purpose. Alright, let's talk about chainmail. Number 1, it needs to be craftable. Whether that's an iron nugget recipe or a bunch of chains to craft armor, number 1, it needs to be craftable. But chainmail, I think, can become the anti-slash, anti-environmental nuisance set. Chainmail will be resistant to slash, neutral to pierce, and weak to blunt, which makes perfect sense in my opinion. Cutting into the metal ring should be harder than stabbing through the gaps, but smashing straight through it with a mace, that would be damaging. For the status interaction, I think chainmail should get a 50% reduction from poison damage. So it suddenly will have a role against cave spiders and witches. Does it really make sense why it has a poison reduction? Honestly, no. But I don't think it has to. And then chainmail's special property, if you're wearing a full set, I think chainmail should get environmental pierce resistance from things like the sweet berries, cactus, or even dripstone. So this armor, in my opinion, will start to feel like the practical adventurer's set. It's not flashy, but it's extremely functional. Alright, moving on to gold. Gold becomes the utility greed set, and honestly I think that fits. Gold would be weak to slash, neutral to pierce, and resistant to blunt. So it's not necessarily a frontline tank set, but it does have a very specific combat niche. For the status interaction for gold, I think gold is kind of a weird one here, but really cool. It's not tied to one of the main harmful combat statuses like freezing or poison in the same direct way like the other two were. Instead, I think it should lean more into a Lux-style utility effect. If you wear a full set of gold armor, every single status effect should be 25% more effective, both positive and negative status effects. Also, I think you should get a higher rate of better loot drops from certain mobs, and better piglin bartering. So gold kind of becomes the I'm farming for resources set. I'm gonna go to the nether and make a ton of money, or I'm not really here to fight you, I'm here to walk out a lot more richer than I started. And honestly, I think it ties in perfectly with gold. Copper is where this starts to get really fun. So copper is neutral to slash, neutral to pierce, but it's weak to blunt. The status interaction for copper is that it is immune to lightning damage, and to me that's immediately cool. But copper has a special property when it interacts with lightning. If you get struck by lightning while wearing copper armor, the copper armor will actually heal its durability. And with a full set of copper armor, if you shift, you'll emit a small redstone signal in the area around you. And to me, that is a really cool Minecraft mechanic. It's weird, it's niche, and it can be useful. And it makes copper feel like more than just the thing that people kept asking Mojang to do something with. And on top of all that, copper will get an exclusive enchantment called Lightning Retaliation. It has 3 levels. When hit, you have a chance to strike your attacker with lightning. At level 1, it's a 10% chance, at level 2, it's 15, and at level 3 it's an 18% chance. That means that copper just became the reactive elemental armor set. It's not tanky or strong, but it is easily one of the most distinct. Alright, iron. The dependable set of armor. Iron would be resistant to slash, resistant to pierce, and weak to blunt, which it makes it a very strong general purpose combat armor, which is what kind of most people are used to. For the status interaction, I think iron should get a 50% reduced burning damage. And in my opinion, if you're wearing a full set of iron armor, iron has a chance to deflect all incoming damage. Think of an arrow just bouncing off your shoulder plate. Whether that's like a 10% or 15% chance, I think it needs to be somewhere in there, but that just gives iron an all well-around usability early to mid-game. Diamond becomes the high-end specialist set instead of just the thing you wear until Netherite. Diamond is resistant to slash, resistant to blunt, but it's weak to pierce. For the status effect, Diamond has an actual downside here. It takes more freezing damage, and that's a good design, because if every strong armor set only had upsides, then you're kind of right back to where we started, with flat progression and 0 decisions. Diamond should be powerful, but not universally perfect. Diamond's special property is not a passive gimmick like leather or copper. Its identity is that it gets a meaningful enchantment choice. So, Diamond Armor will have 2 exclusive enchantments, so you can only choose one path. One is Fortitude. Each enchanted armor piece grants an extra health point. So a Fortitude 1 on a full set of armor will give you a total of 2 extra hearts. Fortitude 2 on a full set of armor will give you 4 extra hearts. The second enchantment is called Diamond Resolve. When you are at 3 hearts or lower, you gain an infinite resistance effect while you stay in that danger zone. That is a fantastic choice. Do you want more maximum survivability all the time? Or do you want a do not die clutch mechanic when things go bad? That's an actual build decision. Minecraft barely gives you those with armor right now. And finally, Netherite. Netherite should still be the best armor in the game, but instead of just being diamond but more, it should still be its own thing. Netherite is resistant to all 3 damage types: slash, pierce, and blunt. For Netherite's status interaction, it gets something called arcane dampening. That means all harmful and positive status effects are reduced by 50% in both effectiveness and duration. That includes potion effects, beacon effects, food effects, status effects from damage types, everything. So Netherite is not just the best armor forever, no questions asked. It's anti-magic, anti-status, anti-chaos, and on top of that, it still keeps its normal Netherite identity with knockback resistance and lava-proof item behavior. But you might be asking yourself, what about those diamond enchantments? You upgrade your Netherite from diamond. So, if you upgrade your diamond armor into Netherite, the diamond exclusive enchants evolve. They don't go away. Fortitude becomes Molten Core. If you take more than 2 hearts of damage at a single hit, you gain resistance 4 for 5 seconds. But because Netherite halves the status effectiveness, that effectively becomes resistance 2. If you have Diamond Resolve, that becomes Last Ember. When you are at 3 hearts or lower, you gain resistance 8 continuously. But again, because Arcane Dampening halves the status effectiveness, that effectively becomes resistance 4. So Netherite still feels like endgame gear, but it doesn't flatten the whole rest of the armor system. It has a powerful identity, not a mindless one. And this is why I like this overhaul so much. It doesn't add complexity for the sake of complexity, it just makes existing Minecraft systems actually talk to each other. Now the weapons have damage identities, armor has matchup identities, status effects are cleaned up and standardized, and each armor set has an actual role. Leather becomes stealth armor, chainmail becomes anti-slash and anti-poison utility, gold becomes the farming and bartering set, copper becomes elemental tech armor, iron becomes the reliable anti-weapon bruiser set, diamond has build paths, and netherite becomes the anti-status endgame armor. To me, that's the point. Minecraft doesn't need 10 more armor materials. It needs the armor that already exists to actually matter. So, that's my full Minecraft combat overhaul. Damage types, standardized status effects, real armor matchup, and actual build choices. This is the kind of thing that I think could be done in a single Minecraft drop if Mojang really wanted to tie the combat system together. So, now I want to hear from you. What armor set would you actually run with these changes? Would you do the stealth and leather? Would you tank up with iron? Or play greedy with gold? Or just become an unholy lightning rod in full copper? This, in your opinion, might feel too modded. Let me know how you would change things. And if you think Minecraft combat needs more thought instead of just bigger numbers, hit like, subscribe, share this around, so just maybe, Mojang would see it. Thanks.